Hi there, it's Aaron Muller with the TIPS team. It's just about 1 o'clock, so I'm going to get started. For this hangout, we're going to take a look at Chrome On. So basically what I'm going to do is explore some of the features, maybe lesser known or just maybe they are known, that you can do and accomplish within the Google Chrome browser. So obviously it's a no-brainer that everything I'm going to show today is within Google Chrome. It's not going to be an Internet Explorer or a Firefox or things like that. It needs to be in Google Chrome. So I see we got a number of viewers with us right now. If you're in the Hangout or whatever and want to submit any questions, on the left-hand side, there should be a Q&A button where you can submit questions to me and I'll answer those based on what you ask. There's also a chat area where you can chat and put in some comments or things like that. But it probably makes more sense that you, under the Q&A area, ask your questions there. And then I can try to answer them specifically to what you want because there's a number of people looking at it. So what I'm going to do first here is just jump off from looking at me, and I'm going to jump right into Google Chrome. So remember, Google Chrome is your browser of choice. It looks something like, let me just get going here. I'll do a little screen sharing. Basically, it looks like this little icon here. And if you just go to google.com/Chrome, you can download it. It should be the default browser probably on your work computer. But again, if you want to do this at home, feel free to download it and go from there. So what do you get with Google Chrome? Well, basically with Google Chrome, you get some built-in security and auto updates. So one of the nice things about this is that it's constantly upgrading. You'll always be working with the latest and newest version of Google Chrome. Rarely do you have to download or update a newer version of Chrome. Over numerous tests, the startup and web pages and the apps that install, it predominantly always is one of the fastest browsers out there. You have some really great productivity pieces within it. We're going to explore some of those today. And then obviously it runs the latest cloud apps and also has a lot of legacy support as well. One of the nice things that Google has also done with the Google Chrome browser is that it's made the look and feel very similar between most of their devices or almost all of them. And so what I mean by that is whether you're on a mobile device, whether you're on a Chromebook or whether you're on a laptop or desktop, the look and feel is very, very similar. And that's a nice feature to have regarding the Chrome browser. One of the nice things about the Google Chrome browser is that you can sign in and personalize your experience within the Chrome browser. And those are the types of things I'm going to show you today. You can install apps and extensions. You can even have Google Chrome memorize some of your passwords so that you can do auto fills. So for instance, if you're doing online shopping and you're filling in numerous areas, you can have Google Chrome memorize your address, even your visa number and things like that. If you're signed into Edmonton Public, some of those features are blacked out for security reasons. But again, everything I'm going to show you today can obviously also be used for your home account. So if you've got a Gmail account at home, you can do that. So one thing to remind you about is here in Edmonton Public, if you're using a Chromebook, it automatically signs you into Google Chrome and then it only uses the Chrome browser. And so within the Chrome browser, there's a number of things you can then take advantage of. And so today we're going to look at about 8 different areas. One of them being apps and extensions, bookmarks, settings, the Omnibox, passwords, autofill, and themes, all that can be done within Google Chrome. So even right now, I'm in this Chrome download page, and you might even see that I've got a number of these things up here that you may or may not have. These are apps and extensions. I've got my bookmark going here. Even the theme color, I've got this silver theme here going that is going to probably look a little different than the one that you've got going. And so how do we do all those, Aaron, or what does that look like? Well, that's what today's presentation's basically all about. So the first thing I wanted to show you is that the most important thing you're going to want to do with Google Chrome is to sign into Google Chrome. When you sign into Google Chrome, then it sort of personalizes your settings and keeps them. And so what I want you to do right now is just follow my mouse. We're going to go up to these 3 lines, which we refer to as the 3 hot dogs, and click on the 3 hot dogs. And I'm already signed into Google Chrome, but there'll be a setting down here where it would say sign into Chrome. And that's where you put in basically your Edmonton Public email. So for me, I'd put aaron.muller@epsb.ca, your password, which is your regular password for all things, and that basically signs you into Google Chrome. One of the nice features about this as well is that you can have multiple instances of the Chrome experience going. So for instance, I have my work email, which is with Google, but I also have a personal email account. And in fact, I have 2 or 3 personal accounts with Google as well. And so one of the nice things is up here, you can see right now, this little setting here says Muller Work. Well, this is my work EPSB mail. If I want to log in to another account, I can click on this button and I can switch users. So this little icon is there. I can take a picture of myself if I want, but I can switch users. And within the switching users areas, I can sign into test accounts that I have access to, my own personal accounts, or I can even add a person. And down here where you add a person, this is where you could add another account to your own Chrome experience. And why you want to do this is that sometimes people log in with their personal Gmail, then they log into Staff Zone, and sometimes there's confusion between which Google Drive are you accessing. Are you accessing your Google Drive for your personal account? Or are you accessing it for your work account? And sometimes the two get confused. So this way you can only live in one experience. So down here you'd add a person, you click on the button, and Chrome's going to try to sign you in here. And what you would basically do is put in the email of your Gmail account, so your personal one here, or your work one, put in your password and then sign in. And then what that does is it creates a whole new user experience when you jump between them. So if I were to jump on Jerry Laser, for instance, my personal account, everything in this experience is tied specifically to my personal account, and the email, the drive, even the settings are all tied to that account. And I can jump between the two of them by clicking up in this area here. So that's one nice way that you can sort of customize some of your information within Google Chrome. So again, clicking up here, clicking on the button, and then switching the person or adding the account is where you can add information between the two types of users. I'm just going to bounce back to see if we've got any questions so far, and it doesn't look like we've got everyone with any questions yet. So again, feel free to submit any questions if you've got any. Under the left-hand side, there's a Q&A side where you can submit questions. So again, feel free to submit any questions there or in the chat area. Submitting them on the site or the event site isn't going to really work. I can't see all those screens at once. So again, it's better if you're submitting your questions under the actual Hangout. So if you click on the event, then click on Q&A, you should be able to see any questions there. Okay, so let's go back to my presentation here, and we'll keep going within the different pieces. So right now we're within the Chrome browser, and we just took a quick look at where you could change between different users up here. And so remember, everything that I'm showing you today basically requires that you're signed in to Google Chrome. You can do this stuff with you're not signed in, but then if you jump between accounts or you jump between Chromebooks, those settings will or will not be remembered. So the next thing I want to take a look at is bookmarking. And so right now I've got my bookmarks already showing here, and I've got files and folders within it. If you don't have this bar showing up, you're going to want to go into your settings of your Chrome browser to make that show up. And so again, that's over here at the 3 hot dogs. And when you click on the 3 hot dogs, you'll see a bookmarks tab. And you can show the bookmarks tab to show up or not show up. So right here it says show bookmark tab. If I unclick that, you'll see that my bookmark tab disappeared. And if I click here and go to bookmarks and show bookmarks bar, there's all your bookmarks. If for some reason you still are using a whole bunch of stuff in Internet Explorer, or maybe you're not using Internet Explorer that much, but want to transfer a whole bunch of the bookmarks that you might have, Google Chrome makes it really easy. When you click on the 3 bars and go to bookmarks, you can import your bookmark settings from any browser, not just Internet Explorer. So that's another nice, easy way to just add the information in terms of things that you've bookmarked. So how or what do you do when you're wanting to bookmark something? Well, really the easiest way is once the bookmark bar shows up, you go to a site. So particularly, let's pretend that I wanted to memorize or favorite or bookmark this page here. I'm at google.com/Chrome. I click on the star, which basically is going to bookmark it. And then you can choose where you want it to be bookmarked. So right now it's under Chrome. I can add it to a specific folder. So which folder do I want it to go to? I can go to the bookmarks bar. I can choose another one if I want. I can even create folders and tell it to go into those specific, folders. So this is nice because then I can have bookmarks all over and see where they are and then quickly get to them. There's also been a newer feature as well where the bookmarks are all labeled like this. And this is really nice because if you start to get too many bookmarks like I have here, you may or may not remember where they are. And now you can just search your bookmarks as well. But all the folders that I have here are also over here on the left-hand side as well. Creating new folders can be done in both ways. So you can click on New here and create a new folder or a new URL. You can also, when you're right on this bookmark bar here, just right click and say add a folder. So when you're making these types of folders or adding a new bookmark, you have a number of choices. You can click on the bookmarks bar or the bookmarks tab, click on new here, add the URL or the new folder or add it to which one you like. So if I'm already in DT and I'm going to add a new one, you just simply add it. Or as I said, when you're just hovering over the bookmarks bar, you can right click and add a page or add a folder. So that's another nice feature about this. And why this is beneficial to you or to students then is that anytime you're signed into Google Chrome, all these bookmarks will follow you. So for instance, if you have a student site or a class site that you want all your grade 1s or 2s to easily get to over and over again, get them to that site once, get the students to bookmark it, then every time they grab a Chromebook, doesn't matter which one, boom, they go to the bookmarks bar, they click on your site, and they're off and running rather than having to type in a long URL each time or go to another application to find the site that you're trying to get them to. So far, again, we've talked about signing in to Google Chrome. Make sure that you go to the 3 hot dogs, click on the area to sign in. You can also click up here to have multiple accounts related to Google. That way you're not getting confused between your personal Gmail accounts and your work related ones. We then talked about the bookmark bars here where you can bookmark and sort of make things a little easier to track regarding sites that you want to visit. So the next thing that I want to take a quick look about is some of these things called keyboard shortcuts. And so a keyboard shortcut is pushing a number of keys on your keyboard simultaneously that will do something within Google Chrome. So for instance, I'm just going to click on this tab button here and I'm going to go to, let's just say, I'm going to go to the Oilers site and open up the Oilers. I don't even need to go to the, well, we'll go to Oilers. Why not? I'm a Oilers fan, so we'll go to the Oilers site here and it opens up. And so right now you can see I've got 3 tabs open. I'm going to open up one more tab and go to epsb.ca. So now I've got multiple tabs open. Okay. If you want to scroll around with your mouse, you can do that, but you can also have some choices with the hot buttons or the keyboard shortcuts. So one of them is if I hold down the control button, which is in the bottom left-hand corner of your keyboard, and press the number 2 while holding the control button, Google Chrome is going to jump from this tab, what it looks at is number 1 or number 1, 2, 3, 4, and jump to number 2. So right now we're on this one. If I do control 2, it jumps to tab 2. If I do control 3, it jumps to tab 3. And if I do control 4, it jumps to tab 4. So this gets helpful because in many times when I'm walking around in classrooms, I see a whole bunch of tabs open here. So they might be going to Google Drive. They might be going to, 4 or 5 different things all open like I have here. And so you can move this around. But depending on the type of learner you are or your students, they might find it easier to just do control 1, which takes you to the first tab, control 2, control 3, control 4, control 5, so on and so on, which is nice. Doesn't matter how many tabs you have open here. If you do control 9, it will always take you to the very last tab. So there's one. If I do control 9, even though this is not tab 9, it takes me to the last one, which is number 9. So these shortcuts that I'm showing you are all done with the control button, which is in the bottom left-hand corner, along with corresponding numbers. Another thing that might be kind of neat is if you just press Control H, it will show you the history of everything that you visited and looked for. Your history may look a little different than mine because I've got an extension installed that shows more of a pictorial or pictogram or sort of a infographic of my history. So again, that's just Control H. One of the things that I really love is Control Shift and the letter T at the same time. I am notorious for scrolling around and closing a tab, but not meaning to close it. And students do this a lot as well because they're not used to the tab browsing. So you're going around and here's the Edmonton Oilers site and I click the X here and I didn't mean to, and it's going to close that tab. Well, if you press Control Shift and the letter T all simultaneously, what Google Chrome will do is open the last closed tab. So Control Shift T, there you go, opens up the Google or opens up the Edmonton Oilers one. So again, if I'm at Edmonton Public and I close that one by accident, it's like, oh darn, didn't need to do that one. Control Shift and T will reopen it, so you don't need to worry about that. Another thing to think about or use as well is that if you're using the cursor over here, but you want to quickly jump up to the Omnibox, which is up here because you want to search for something. So if you're over here, Control K takes you right up into the Omnibox. So again, let's say I'm over here, Control and the letter K takes me right up here. And why is that important? Well, I think most of you may know this, but if you don't need to go to Google to then search for something. Right here within the Chrome or within this Omnibox or this URL box, you can just type what you're looking for, right? So if I'm looking for something about iPads, I just need to type in the word iPads and it'll search for it. I don't need to go to Google, then type in iPad. So this is really useful for students in terms of wanting to be able to find things quickly. So again, Control K, it clears everything that's up here, and then you can just type in what you're looking for. So if I'm looking for Android, boom, off I go. So those are some keyboard shortcuts. And at the end of this presentation, I'm going to link a Google presentation that shows all of these because I know I went through quite a few of them. But just to review them, the first one we did was Control 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And what that did was it jumped between the different tabs, like right now. Remember that Control 9 will always take you to the very last tab, even though it's not the 9th tab. Control H will show you your history. Control K will take you to the Omnibox and delete whatever is in there. Control K. And one of my favorites is if you close your Google Drive by accident because it's the last tab, Control Shift T opens up that one that you just closed. And one more that I kind of forgot about, I don't use it that often because I find just clicking on this tab opens a new tab. But another way to just open a new tab is to type on Control T. And Control T will open up a new tab for you. So those are some little shortcuts that may or may not make your life easier when you're working within Google Chrome. So the next thing that I want to take a look at or talk about is customizing your Google Chrome experience so that every time you open up Google Chrome, you get a similar look and feel. And so what I mean by that is you can choose which one of these tabs opens up every time you click on Google Chrome. So let's pretend that you always want to be having the Edmonton Public site show up. And you always want to have, let's just pretend the Edmonton Oilers website show up. And you always want to have, let's say, Staff Zone open up every time you click on Google Chrome. You can make these tabs all appear. And so how do you do that is going over to the 3 hot dogs, clicking on those, okay, and then going down to the section here called settings. And so under settings, you can decide right up here, it says on startup, open, and so again, this is under settings, open the new tab setting. Ignore this area here. This is an extension I have installed. It says, but open up a specific set of pages. So if you want that to happen, you can say, I want to open up a specific set of pages. So then you set the pages. You click on the button. I did that a little fast. I'll do that again. You say, what are the pages that I want to open? So right now for me, every time I start something in my Chrome experience, I have my mail open, Google Drive, calendar, staff room, the website deflector, and then off you go. Adding a new page is pretty basic. Go in and type the name of the website. If you already have your pages set up here at the top, then you could just say use current pages, and it automatically took all those pages. That doesn't make a lot of sense for me because I've got a lot of windows open behind the scenes, but that's how you could also open a specific set of pages. This is really helpful because then when you jump between your Chrome browser experiences, especially for personal and professional experiences, you can have the set ones open up. So remember up here, I talked about having work and personal Chrome experiences. Well, now if I click on Muller Work and I switch the person to Jerry Laser, which is my personal account, what's going to show up here is all of my stuff pertaining to my personal life. And the first tab that have opened up are both my kids' hockey pages, which I come and visit often. And even this look and theme is different along with some of the customization and bookmarks I've put on. Jumping back is pretty basic. I just need to click here and say switch person, and I can go back to my work account. Or I can even just close this experience right here, which is just my personal experience. And it will take me back to the experience that I now show here, which is my work one. And so that's a nice way. So again, how did you set the pages, Aaron? You went to the hot dogs. Under the hot dogs, you went to settings. And after settings, I went over here and said open a specific set of questions. And so that area there will show you how to set the different questions and things like that. The next thing that I wanted to focus on was themes. And so perhaps you don't like the plain Jane color of Google Chrome. You can change the themes and the look and the feel. So right now I kind of have something called brush silver or brush nickel, I think. And so you can see my theme here is a colored theme like this. And so how do you change the theme? So again, you go to the 3 hot dogs. And under, I think it's settings. I haven't done this one in a while. Settings. There's a whole bunch that you can do in here. And over here, you can get themes. So reset to the default theme. Well, this is the default theme there. And the default theme is just this sort of white hueish background. But you can also get themes. So again, where was this? The 3 hot dogs. Under settings. And then I went over here to get themes. And so this takes you to the Chrome Web Store. And I'm at this area called For EPSB. I want to click up to themes because this is an area where you can get apps and extensions. We've defaulted this to go to epsb.ca, but for this particular thing, I just want themes. And then here are a whole bunch of different themes. So if you're into the cute cat theme, you can try this one. If you're into Cirque du Soleil, Bob Marley, whatever it is, you can also search for them based on categories by artist. And you can even search what you want. Just for fun, some of these are costs. So you can see Raindrops here is free. The cute cat, of course, because everybody loves cats, it's going to cost you some money. So be careful on which one you choose. You don't need to worry about anything. Nothing will be charged to any accounts unless you've already set stuff up like that. So just for today, I'm going to go with this abstract blue. So hover over the theme that you like, click on free. It's going to check for it, and in about 4 or 5 seconds, it's going to authorize that theme color, and then it's going to push that Google theme on top of your Google Chrome. So now what you can see is my Chrome is now all blue, and I've got these blue icons like this, and that's a nice, easy way to customize a theme. If you don't want to undo that or you don't like it, just click undo, and it will take away that Chrome experience that you're just playing like this. So that's like that. One thing I wanted to also let you know about, another nice way is if you got a whole bunch of these tabs open and you got some music playing, but you don't know where the music is playing and you don't want to just close all of them at once, right in front of each tab, if something is playing some music, you will see a little speaker on it. And so what I mean by that is if I just go to YouTube for a second and let's just pick something to watch that's appropriate. So let's try this Google for Education video. And I'm just going to stop it. What I wanted to show you was now up on the right-hand corner, what you will see is this is me doing this video. And if I let this video play, right up here, a little speaker will appear. And that's your little clue that this particular tab has sound coming from it. So just watch this. I'll let this play for a little bit. So up here, you can see that thing. So again, well, great, Aaron. Well, if this tab's hidden though, up like this, and you're trying to figure out which one is playing music because you're on this tab, which one is it? Well, there's the speaker. Click on the speaker and you can close it. Okay, and that kind of lets you know which tab is doing what. And that's sort of useful because sometimes you've got so many open, you're not sure which one it is that you're trying to get a hold of. So far we've looked at bookmarks and how to bookmark different things. We've learned how to sign into Google Chrome. We've also learned how to customize it and open up with a specific set of pages, even do some certain colors. The next thing I wanted to look at was just quickly if there was any specific questions that people had regarding stuff. So someone just asked, and thank you. There's quite a few questions here. I went off on a tangent for a bit. So one person said, my ad user is on the top left-hand side of the thing. What about your account? So what she's referring to regarding that is, and I'll just show you on mine right now. In my particular account, my stuff's up in this corner. If your users are on the top left, your Google Chrome just needs a slight update, and you're probably working on a version just slightly older than mine. So Google Chrome just got a pretty big update in the last couple of weeks. So normally when you just restart it, it updates itself, but also under the 3 hot dogs, you can go into settings about Chrome or more about Google Chrome, and you can update it so that this piece here is no longer here, but over on this side here. So that's the same thing, but yeah, I'm talking about the same way to sign in with the different accounts. It's over there on the left. So that was one of the questions that we asked. Someone said, all I can see is the Hobbit, but I can hear you. You just need to push forward on that. When you joined this Hangout, it starts from the very start, and we streamed for a couple minutes before we got started. So if you're joining this midstream and want to come right up live, click on the link on the tab and sort of move the bar all the way to say completely live. Otherwise, you might be a couple minutes behind some of the stuff I'm saying, but you're not going to know it because what you're hearing is what I'm pushing out instantly. So let's go back to the Chrome browser experience here. What I now want to take a quick look at is installing some apps and extensions. And so apps or extensions are pieces that you can add to Google Chrome that enhance your abilities. And what I mean by that is it might make things easier. It might be a shortcut to something. It might do something for you. And so the easiest way to add apps or extensions is to go to the Chrome Web Store. And so there's a number of ways to get to the Chrome Web Store. You can just go into your URL and type in Chrome Web Store, and it will take you right to it if you click on it here. If you're in your Google Mail or Google Drive and you want to find something, you can also click on the grids over here and go to the Chrome Web Store. If you're on a Chromebook watching this, down in the bottom left-hand corner, you can access the Chrome Web Store as well. And so again, you need to be using Google Chrome, and you need to be going to the Chrome Web Store to access any apps or extensions. So one more time, basically easiest way to do this for today is just type in Chrome Web Store, and you'll hit it here. And so what are apps or extensions? Well, we're going to start first with extensions. And so extensions are pieces that are added that you can see directly or that you need to turn on or that are always working in the background for you. So all these little icons up here on my Chrome browser, these are different extensions that I have installed. One thing I want to warn you about is don't go crazy with all the extensions that you add. Some of them are always running, and you may find that your Chrome browser experience gets slower and slower and slower. You may also want to avoid having students install a ton of apps or extensions, especially if they're using different Chromebooks every time. If they use the same Chromebook, it remembers their profile and has these things sort of cached and ready to go. But if they've never been on that Chromebook before, every time they log on with that Chromebook, all these apps or extensions have to be added, and that can sometimes take 2 or 3 minutes. So extensions, you can just search for what you're looking for. So maybe you're looking for something about just Google Mail, and these are different apps and extensions that you can add. And the best thing to do is look at how many stars the app or extension has, how many people have installed it, and also by clicking on it here, you can sometimes read reviews from people about how good or bad it is it working, is it not working? Sometimes the developers or people that have made this will install a little video here and you can see it. Another nice thing that we've done in Edmonton Public is when you're at the Chrome Web Store, if you click on for-epsb.ca, which is down here at the bottom, some of the more popular ones that have been downloaded in our district are sort of pushed out to you directly. Doesn't necessarily mean that these are the best, but these seem to be some of the more popular ones that are out there. So just an example of what some of these ones do. I'm going to go through a couple of mine and I'll say the names of them. You're going to have to write them down. Again, at the end of this presentation, I'll have these all linked, which ones I've done. So for instance, one of the ones I have right here is Google Drive, and all this does is it saves whatever page I'm on to Google Drive, or the URL to Google Drive, or the image to Google Drive. So why I like this is that if I'm on the Oilers official website and I see an image of something that I like, you can right click on it, and as you can see, when you right click, it says save to Google Drive, and it'll instantly save that image right into my Google Drive. So there's no having to right click, copy the URL, or do things like that. It just saves it, boom, right into my Google Drive. Another thing that I like to use with my apps and extensions here is this one here. It's called Color Pick Eyedropper. And what this one's useful for is when I'm on a website and I want to know exactly what that green color here is. Well, that's not a good example because that just changed. I want to know exactly what this gray color is. Color Pixel, or the color picker, you click on it and you hover over, and as you can see up here on the top left, it's telling me the different combinations of colors, or the hexadecimal codes of what the colors are. And so when you scroll over, this gray is this code, these oranges are these codes. And then what you can do is click on it, the color that you want. So this is the blue that I want. And basically, that's a hexadecimal code of what that color is. So then when I'm working on a Google site or things like that, and I want to match the two colors, this code here is telling me exactly the color of that color on the internet. And then when I'm pasting in different colors or customizing things, that color has some merit to me. So obviously for my role, that makes some sense, or that's what I want. Some other things that I've talked about that might be useful is this is just a quick launch to TweetDeck. So TweetDeck is basically my Twitter feed, and that enables me to have all my Twitter feeds pushed in and connected all at once. So when I click on my TweetDeck, instantly all my stuff about my Twitter account shows up, and I can follow and look at different things. I don't need to sign in because that's all done for me through Google. This one here is a useful one. It's a Google shortener. So if you ever need to quickly share something with your students and you just want to give them the URL shortener, what you can do is, let's say you're going to send them to this website here, which really isn't that long. Let's not choose that one. Let's go into this and go into programming like this. And then Ukrainian, let's just pick that. So you've got this long URL here. You want your students to get right to this page. Rather than writing out this long combination, or even if this is for a website, you can click on the URL shortener. And what the URL shortener does is it shortens it. And now, rather than having to write out this whole long thing here, students just need to write, they don't even need to write HTTP, they just need to write goo.gl/xtkzyf. Another nice thing about this is that you can even make QR codes about this. So if you want to do a scavenger hunt throughout your school, or have QR codes tied to certain web pages or even videos, you can get the QR code. And then you can copy this QR code, paste it, print it out so that people can go on sort of QR code hunting. You can also get details and analytics about how many pages are hitting your different Google shortened sites. So I've seen this done a lot with Phys Ed, where people go to a YouTube channel, show videos about how to do a proper serve, what a proper dance looks like for a dance unit, whatever it might be, even gymnastics. And then students click on the QR code, watch the video that helps emphasize the proper skills and movements regarding something. So that's a Google shortener as an extension. There's all different ones. There's literally thousands and thousands of extensions. Um, really, it's going to be up to you to find which ones make sense for you and what do you want them for, professional or personal use. Um, this one here, for those of you that have Google Chrome or Chromecast, this is a way to mirror your Android device onto Google Chrome. And so some of your schools that have WAS might be able to do that. Anyways, I can go on and on and on about this, but there's a whole bunch of extensions that you can add. One of the most popular extensions these days, and it was just recently pushed out to all students, is the Google Read and Write extension. And again, I'm not going to talk too much about that. There's a session later on today that I think Will Rice is doing that talks all about the Google Writing extension. But basically, it's an assistive technology tool that does word prediction, text to speech, it does some translation, and it just sort of sits here as an extension waiting to be used. So remember, all this is in the Chrome Web Store. So those were some extensions that we looked at. Now I'm going to take a quick look at some of the apps. Apps can sometimes just be a shortcut to a website. Apps might be something that's added to your Google Drive. They might even be, well, let's just take a look at some of the apps that I have. So for me, when I've added some of my apps, these are some of the apps that I have. So for instance, Pixlr Editor. This is basically a shortcut going to Pixlr Editor. This is a photo editing website. Rather than having to go to Pixlr, type it in, it's an app that I've added. So it's a shortcut. Same thing like this one for WeVideo. This is going to authenticate me through Google, save me having to sign in, but really it's just taking me to the WeVideo editor and maker. This is a graphing calculator app that might be useful. And so again, you install the app and add it in. Kazina is a really nice one. This particular app here allows you to put in voice comments into your Google Docs. So rather than typing in comments, you can actually record your voice and then give verbal feedback to the students as opposed to writing it. Some other ones, connecting to Raz Kids. We get a lot of questions about typing programs. So these are some things that add right to some different typing programs. Even Classroom has its own little app that you can add as well too. So there's a whole bunch of different apps that you can add. And again, these are all from the Chrome Web Store. And again, the easiest way to find the Chrome Web Store depends on the device. But for today, I've just been typing in this to get to it. So I'm just going to go back and see if there's any specific questions about this. So do you need a Gmail account, or can you have a Shaw, Hotmail, etc. account added for profiles? So what that person's referring to is, can you sign into Google Chrome with something other than a Google account? And the answer is no. You have to have a Google account. That being said, you can tie a Google account to a Shaw account or a Hotmail account. And so what I mean by that is you'd have your own Google account that sort of works in relation to your Hotmail or Shaw account. It is possible. My best advice to you, though, is if you're setting up a new account and you're trying to access this stuff for personal use, set up a brand new Google account and then do something like forward your Shaw mail to the Google account, or even forward anything from the Google account to your Shaw mail. But you do need a Google account. And as I said, you can tie your Google account to your Shaw account or Hotmail, all on the Google site. That's where you would find that. I can paste that link in later. But for simplicity's sake and ease of use, your best bet would be to just create a brand new Google account and use that to sign in for. Remember, though, all of you already have a Google account for work, and all this can be done with your epsb.ca account because that is a Google account. So we've got a couple more minutes here. Right now, basically what we're working on is showing those different apps and extensions. And let's see, I think that's enough for the different types of apps or extensions. One of the other things that we didn't talk so much about is that under the settings of Google Chrome, there's also a section here. And if we scroll down, we can also change things in the advanced settings. So if I scroll down here to advanced settings, you can change your default password. This is where you can also put in passwords or forms. So this is the area where if you're constantly filling out something on the internet that says, what's your name, what's your address, where do you live, what's your phone number, Google can automatically memorize those for you. So under the passwords and forms section, you can say manage autofill settings. And when you click on that, it basically says, type in your address, type in your name, type in your phone number, things like that. And then every time you go to a website, it senses that you're on one of those and it will autofill it for you. The autofill section, though, for your epsb.ca account is blocked out and it will not let you do it. As you can see here, it's grayed out. And deep reasons. We don't want someone not logging off properly or leaving all their passwords on a device and then someone else getting in. It's a bit of a security issue. However, for your own personal information, that's just your information, you do have this ability. So I love this. So anytime I'm going to Boston Pizza ordering food because I don't want to cook, I go to the website, the autofill features take over, and then boom, it throws in everything about my name, my address. And then if you're comfortable giving it passwords or even Visa numbers, it will fill that in as well for you. Another feature, and this is really especially important for parents of your schools, is that if your parents are using Google Chrome at home as their default browser, they can log in and change the language settings. And what I mean by that is everything that you put in on is English that's all related to Google. So if you're using Google Sites, a Google Doc or things like that, if the other party or the parents at home don't speak English and need it in a different language, they can change how Chrome handles and displays the information. So they can go to languages and they can choose different languages that they want to put in. And what this basically does is removes some of the barriers that exist with some of our ELL learners, especially if it's regarding parents that speak very limited English or the students. So again, that's a nice feature at home. I'd really encourage you to have parents download Google Chrome at home, use that as their default browser, and show them how to change the language settings or the input settings so that things can be translated. And it's not 100%, but it's pretty darn close. And it's definitely going to remove some of the barriers that exist within our school district. If you don't want to have Google as your default browser, you can change the default browsers as well. So if you prefer Bing or some of the other search engines that are out there, you don't necessarily have to use Google with Google Chrome in terms of being a search engine. You can change it to that as well. So that pretty well summarizes it. The last thing I did want to show you was within the Chrome Web Store, there's also some things called, and this is more of just a neat thing to see, it's called Chrome Experiments. And some of these Chrome experiences are Google Chrome taking advantage of what's called WebGL and HTML5. It's sort of the next future of different Chrome experience. And so I'd encourage you to take a look at this for now. It's neat things that people are doing with the WebGL. And why I wanted to show that as well is that one of the very first icons that we were trying to look at that had the Hobbit, let me just find it here. Sorry about that. So right now, if you go to, I'm going to change my screen sharing so that you guys can see this particular one. Just hold on a second. Sorry about that. And if I go here and share that page, then I can go here and go Chrome. And let me just not do Chrome Experience, but just Chrome. And I'm just doing this. There's faster ways to find this, but I'm trying to let you guys see this as well. And hopefully this will work. But when we started this whole session, it was talking about a journey through Middle Earth, and this is one of our Chrome experience or things like that. And so this is all only available through Google, but there's some really neat things to watch or build within some of the Chrome experience that take advantage of Chrome GL. And so this is one of them. So I'll just show this one here. Hopefully it will load quickly. These definitely take a while to load. They're using a lot of information. And basically what you can do is explore different parts of Middle Earth. You can see different things and basically explore the different areas. So I just use this one as an example because it was the default one on the Google page, but there's a whole bunch of them that are more educational as well. And this is again only available through Google. It looks like it's taken a while to load up, and I want to honor our time for today as well because we're actually getting close to the end of our presentation. So if you've got any other further questions or comments, feel free to email myself or the tips team regarding Chrome browser experiences. The big things to remember is you want to be using Google Chrome. You want to sign into it. And you want to be signing into it on a device that is specifically yours, not one that's shared amongst a whole bunch of different people. If you are using a device that's shared between a whole bunch of people, you want to make sure that you sign out of Google Chrome when you're done. So that's it for Chrome On. Thanks for attending, and I'm out.